Guys, I'm so pumped to be here. I want to tell you guys a story today that you don't know about. The first event I ever went to your guys' back, it was September of 2018.
Momentum.
Hi, I'm Carlos Reyes. I was born in Mexico and I was brought to this country illegally twice by my single mother. After a few decades of poverty and trying to survive on a 9-to-5, I discovered real estate wholesaling and made my first $1 million in just 2 short years. I flipped over 1,000 houses, became a serial entrepreneur, built over 31 companies, helped thousands of others gain financial freedom through real estate, became a top keynote speaker, and most importantly, I was able to expand my network with other 7, 8, and 9-figure earners. I went from zero to hero. I'm truly living the American dream. If I can change my life, so can you. Follow my journey and I'll show you how.
I want to tell a story of like the behind the scenes of what happened and what caused me to go to that event and how that has changed my life since I went there. I don't think people have any freaking clue how important you guys are in my life. Let me tell you guys something, okay? Because I get chills thinking about this. I remember Alex DMing me in September of 2018 for Momentum. He was DMing me, and we weren't like friends. We were just kind of in the same space. I was doing, at the time, I was a Homevestor franchise.
I remember. You're a contractor too, right?
I was a contractor too, so I was running a big construction company. We were doing $2 million a month for Open Door, OfferPad, and Zillow was just starting to hire us as well. And I had a guy here locally take me for $1 million. And it was like I couldn't pay my payroll. It was a horrible story. But everything basically leading up to that was like 4 years before that, I had this guy come into my world. He was referred to me by somebody. He's like, hey, this guy has a lot of houses. So I start fixing and flipping houses for him as a contractor. And it was like this thing where I would give him $100,000 where I would pay for the renovation up front. By the way, if you're a contractor, do not pay for people's renovations up front. So I paid for his renovations up front, like $100,000, and then he'd pay me $97,000. Hey, I'm a little short. I'll get you caught up on the next house. Okay, well, that accumulated over 4 years to like $800,000.
Wow.
Okay.
Jesus.
And by the time I was like deep, I'd say $200,000 deep, I reached out to Jamil and I said, hey man, I don't know you that great. This was before Jamil and I became like best buddies, right? I don't know you that well, but you'd done business with this guy in the past and I need to talk to you. Jamil had never made a post on Instagram. His Instagram logo was an owl. It was an owl. And I didn't even know it was Jamil.
Would love to hear the explanation of that.
I know. I actually don't know the explanation. We should get him to tell it. So I reach out to him. I go, hey, I need some help. We sit down. We have lunch. Him and I start doing deals together because I also owned a Homevestor franchise at the time. And his advice was run away from this guy as fast as possible. He's bad news. He's bankrupted 3 times in his life, and he's about to bankrupt you a 4th time.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay? So I'm like, You're right. And I knew in my heart he was right. But I went 2 more years, and that $200,000 the guy owed me at that time got racked up to $800,000 2 years later. And Jamil's like, I freaking told you, you need to run. So what I was doing is I was making money from wholesaling in Homevestors, and I'd make $50,000, $60,000 that month, and I'd take that and I'd go put it in this guy's business, hoping that I was going to get my money out.
What made you like not listen to?
Because
was it pride?
I have a disease, dude, and I think a lot of us have this disease. I just hadn't overcome it at that time. My disease was I see the good in everybody, and I assume that people are going to operate the same way I operate when I do business with them.
Right.
It's like when you and I are doing deals. I know you and Cody talk more about the deals that we do together, but like we just assume we're all on the same playing field. And when somebody says, well, I can't pay you back right now, I go, no problem, man. I know you have good intentions.
You're good for it. Yeah.
You're good for
Benefit
it.
of the doubt, yeah.
By the time I knew I was screwed, I had a custom home I was like building with cash. And I was like 80% of the way done with it. And I had a portfolio of like 50 homes. And when this guy, the same day that my wife is giving birth, or she's going to give birth in a week or so, the day I get the letter from the gentleman, he files bankruptcy on me, okay?
Oh, God.
The day I get that letter is the day that you DM me for Momentum, okay? And I'm going to tell you how hard it was for me to go to that event, okay? So what happened is this guy, I knew he was going to screw me. I knew it by the time, I didn't know it when he owed me $800,000. And he comes to me and he goes, I need $200,000 more dollars. And I promise you, I will get done with these houses. I'll get you paid on the back end. I need $200,000 more. So you know what I do? I go sell my house that I'm in the middle of building. It's like 80% of the way done. Wow. I go sell that house through Keegley because I needed the money right now. I'm like, I need the money right now because I got to pay my payroll. I got to help this guy out. I'm still, after 4 years of serving this guy, I'm still digging myself deeper. I then go and sell like 25 of my rentals, get my equity out, and I give this guy about $400,000 over the course of a couple of months. Wow. And then boom, I get a bankruptcy letter from him saying he's bankrupting me and he's bankrupting 42 other people here in town. Okay. By the way, could you believe this is the best thing that ever happened to me? That's the thing that's crazy. Okay. So people that are watching, like all these things that are going on in your life, you got to realize like there's amazing things there's bad things that are happening to you, but they're leading you down a path. So what happens is I have no money. I have payroll that's due. I used my equity in my houses to pay my payroll for a couple of months because this guy like took advantage of me. I have no money. I've got my wife's about to give birth, and Alex reaches out to me, says, hey, momentum's coming up. This might be of interest to you. And we go back and forth. Dude, I pull out my last credit card.
No way.
I pull out my last credit card at my wit's end, and I'm like, I believe and I trust these guys.
Wow.
Okay. And I go to that event, and at that time, we weren't like best homies or anything like that. I was like 15 rows deep.
But let me say something because Steve Trang, I think he called me or texted me. He said, hey, my good buddy Pace is coming to Momentum. Watch out for him. He's going to be a killer. That's what he told me.
Really?
That's what he told me. So, you know, when you meet somebody through a relationship, because I have the utmost respect for Steve.
Right.
And it was right after I think I did his podcast. So, like, my point is like because it was introduced by Steve, like I had automatically you're up here.
Bro, you were DMing me about the event. You guys were like advertising for the event, but it wasn't an advertisement that got me. It was you reaching out to me directly. Yeah. Okay. And let me tell you, why was that event so good for me? I wanted to tell people how freaking amazing you guys are. Okay. So what happens is the year prior, I was running my Homevestor franchise and I was doing 8 to 10 deals a month, just me and my wife. But I wanted to break away from Homevestors because they wouldn't let me do creative finance. They wouldn't let me do certain things.
Your own advertisement,
bro,
all kind of different. Yeah.
They got mad at me when I would talk about, oh, hey, I just bought a deal on Instagram, because they knew that like a wholesaler would send me another deal and say, oh, you're doing deals, I'll send you a deal. They didn't want me to do anything outside of their prison that put you in. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out YouTube, watching this, paying for courses, doing stuff to learn, like, is there a way I can get away from Homevestors, right? Which is so funny now looking back at that, like how simple it really was, but that's what was so magical about what you guys did for me. I remember sitting there in Momentum. It was everything I needed. It was everything I needed to tell me what was possible outside of what I thought was everything in real estate, the real estate world. And here's what it was specifically. Carlos is phenomenal, right? He has an energy that like very few people have. Yeah. Unmatched. Yeah. He has an unmatched energy, right? Alex, what you do is you open up your CRM and you go through and you start talking about things that you might have thought even were boring, but I'm sitting here looking at, you go, okay, guys, it took 42, I remember the exact line, you guys, it took 42 follow-ups with this guy to get the contract done.
Yeah, I remember.
And it was those little things that I'm watching and I'm going, you guys showed me what was possible. Okay? And for the cost of going to Momentum, I'm telling you that event not only changed my life, but it has made not just me, but it has made thousands of other people attached to what I teach now, millions upon millions of dollars.
Goosebumps.
Because you reached out to me and because you guys delivered way more than anybody had delivered to me at that point in my life. And so this is like, I did a testimonial for you a couple months ago.
I saw it, yeah.
And your team was like, this is so good. I go, guys, it's this much of how I feel about these guys. This much.
Man.
So
it's like, what do we?
You can't say anything above this. This is why I was thinking about. I was like, I have to share this. I have to wait for a moment where I get in front of these guys, where I trap them in seats where they can't go anywhere.
Yeah,
so
I
can tell this.
The audience will get mad.
Right. I had to tell that story. Now, I hear a lot of people talk about like their why, right? Like we all have the same why.
Yep.
Okay. I look at it and I go, it's why, it's reason, and there's purpose. Your why is my why. you've got kids, you got a wife, right? You've got your life going on, and I love watching like all the things that get you juiced up and excited as well. Like we all have the same why. It's all the same.
Absolutely.
Family, friends, that's our why. But the reason why you guys go above and beyond that is so you can show other people what's possible. Yeah. And you're phenomenal. In the game, I would say you guys are the currently the best of the freaking best at showing people what is possible and how to actually do it. Now, there's the one thing above that is your purpose. And I feel like you guys are still working on what your purpose is, right? It's like it's down there. You can see the light on it.
I think it evolves because we'll set a purpose and then God's like, nah, bigger.
Right.
And it just increases and increases. And then we hear stories like this which amp us up, and it's just like, where's the next Pace Morby at? Is he watching this? Is he somewhere out there? Like
there's a Pace Morby that you guys had at an event last year that's still working on the grind that hasn't blown up yet. Yeah, like there's things that you guys did last year you haven't seen yet. There's seeds that you guys planted that those trees haven't come out of the soil yet. That's what I wanted to share with you guys is like what you guys are doing, this podcast, your events, everything you're doing. It equates to billions of dollars at the end of the day that you guys have brought into other people's bank accounts that you don't even know about.
You know,
I believe that.
I feel like for us, since the beginning, like God has been the tip of our spear.